Hi, my name is Kenya Weekly.
And I'm Marcus Fuller.
And we're students at Grambling State University. We decided to review your movie Honor Up, and we have a few questions for you.
Question number one. Honor Up is a very relatable movie because many people go through these sort of ethical dilemmas. Where was your personal inspiration coming from while creating the film?
So my personal information or inspiration was my actual experience. So, I came up in an extreme circumstance, almost chose it because I didn't have to. I was just kind of infatuated with it, like survival and like really being a man and being honorable, like that whole thing. I kind of bought into it back then. And I came around, or the person that plays Primo, his name is Daniel. And when I was in the street, he was my OG. He actually taught me how to be. I looked at him as an example. He was the guy that I wanted to be, really because of the way he was with his kids. Like, he'd walk around and everyone respected him and everything, and his kids would be fresh. And they, just had this posture. And I was like, that's the dad I want to be. Like, if there was a person I wanted to emulate, it was him in that circumstance. And the character that Styles P plays, who's called Kite, is inspired by a friend of mine named Luke, who's in jail now. And he was, just that guy. He was the guy that, Daniel was really good friends with, and he ended up going another way. And Daniel had always advised me not to go that way, and I always respected that. But we always had a certain connection and a bond, and when he went to jail, I respected the fact that because he signed on to something, he kept it within the game, and he didn't tell. He did his time for it. And when he was doing things, taking advantage, or rather just being very aggressive about things, to say the least, Lou, I never had to have any fear of him. So he was the kind of guy that if he wasn't busting at him, you had to shoot with him. And I didn't have to do any of that. And I always appreciated that as well. So that's why I considered him a friend, just by the way he treated me. He never took advantage. So I didn't see Daniel for about 25 years because he was advising me, like, yo, get away from this life. I know that's what I'm going to do. And it turned out that he was very influential in Murder Mook's life, who plays Mike. And I was, he told me, Mook, when he first came around, told me he was from 127th, which is where Daniel was from. And I was like, yo, Daniel? And he was like, no. And then Blackface, who's in the movie as Blackface, pulled Mook to the side and said, I think he's talking about D. And he showed me a picture of him, and it was Daniel. And I was like, oh, that's my OG. And, I'm a guy that's looking for guidance at all times because it's like no one tells me anything. I'm a guy that always has to give guidance, but who gives it to me? So I'm always looking for someone to talk to that I could relate to. And that was Daniel, someone I could look up to. That was Daniel. And when he came around, he was still saying Daniel. He was even better Daniel, like stronger, newer cars, jewelry was updated, and still very positive. And what he was in Mook's life, he was in my life. He's that in a lot of people's life. So I started to think about all the things that, I had to live by, that code, that creed, that I survived, and the choices that I made to take that honor and that discipline and put it to legal things. And then understanding the rules of the game, there were a lot of people that I know that I trusted, that I always thought lived by the rules of the game, and I had recently found out that they weren't. Like when somebody kind of like violates a game that they signed on to, like by snitching, you're not really supposed to have any kind of respect for them. And I was starting to see people that were cooperating, starting to get still the same amount of respect, and I couldn't understand that. It was from people that I knew. And again, I think a policeman, there's nothing wrong with being a policeman. You signed on to something, you live by it. But when you sign on to live a different life, amongst the life you live, you sign on to something, there's some honor in that. And that's what keeps you safe. And I applied that to legal things. And I played the game fair, and it's worked out for me. And I just wanted to showcase that. So I was in New York. I was moving to L.A. because my daughters moved to L.A. and I just wanted to do something. Mook and Smoke wanted to do music, and I was like, I'm more into doing movies, and I'm inspired. So let's just shoot some scenes. And we just started shooting. And, I put Daniel in it as Primo, and I was inspired by the stories, and I ended up with that. And I thought it was a way to showcase being independent. My girl, Raquel, Lifey for Lifey, was telling me that she had watched me make a lot of other people famous, and by using my ideals and my taste level. And it was time for me to showcase my point of view, and she really couldn't love me 100 unless I loved myself 100 and stood behind my point of view. So it became also a challenge there. Like, I got to make movies. She wanted me to make movies. And, I wanted to it was just how I was feeling, And I thought it's something that people can learn from my perspective. Because if you're not living that life, it's kind of hard to understand the rationale behind it and the tolerance of it, you know. And then also understanding what I came from and understanding why I appreciate what I have currently so much.
In what ways have you kept your own honor while progressing in a legitimate field of creativity?
So the question was, in what ways have I showcased that honor in my life? I think the fact that I walked away from corporate money when people were putting up the money, you know, with the Rockefeller situation, and because they were asking me to compromise my deals, the integrity of the other artists, you know, there was a bag and it was a consistent bag there, but I didn't feel good about it and I didn't trust it and I didn't think it was sustainable. And I felt like, you know, doing it on my own, or instead of robbing an artist, I can give an artist an independent platform without any compromise, and started to open up art galleries all over the world and aggregate them doing that, you know, and toughen it out and doing it on my own. I mean, I think that's all the ways that I'm showcasing the honor. The fact that every person that I put in business, like Jay-Z and Kevin Hart and Lee Daniels and Rachel Roy, they're all doing very well. You know, that's what I'm proud of, is when the people I work with are successful. Kanye West, you know, there's some honor in that. They got there, meaning they're not robbed. Like, you don't hear them saying, Damon robbed me. You know, I'm broke. How come, you know, the administrator has all the bread? I'm the one they always say is the one lacking in bread. And the artists are always the one that have no story of being robbed. I just think my actions speak louder than my words. You know, the way I empower people, the way I showcase the people that I love's talents, like my wifey for lifey, Raquel Horn, you know, and make sure she gets all the credit for everything that she is in my life, you know, and the way I carry and conduct myself with my children. You know what I mean? And I do it all. That's how I stunt. My stunt is to showcase love, and that's honorable. You know, I'm not trying to show you a car. I'm trying to show you how to make money for your family. I'm trying to show you how to love your woman. I'm trying to show you how to love your children. I'm trying to show you that that's the only way to love yourself, especially as a man, is to love other people. That's honorable to me.
There are many people in the movie who live that real life, such as Murder Mook. He's a famous battle rapper. How did it feel being around so many of those type of people all at once?
So the question is, how did it feel being around Murder Mook and all his crew? Yeah, he's real hood, and he's very legit. But the thing is, I didn't initially really want to meet Murder Mook. Smoke wanted me to meet Murder Mook because his name was Murder. I didn't know anything about him. And I was like, I don't want to meet another dude named Murder. But he came around one day. We were all hanging out. I think we went to A$AP Rocky's house. And I just he had a familiar way of acting. And I never feel uncomfortable around people that have the same ideals as me and that I know respect me because I respect them. So, you know, his crew ended up being my crew, actually. You know, Daniel was his OG, so Daniel was my OG, so our crews automatically linked up. And since then, we've been brothers. And I never feel unsafe. I have my girl, my wife, my kids around. It's cool. It was a very good experience. And, you know, it's an authentic experience because not only can they show me what they're going through and remind me of what I've been through, I can show them, if you play the game a certain way, this is what you could do. And once you do this, look, you can kick back and help out. So there was nothing but love around. And we taped every part of it. So you could see the behind the scenes. We got a compound in upstate New York. And I had the OGs on one side, and I had the younger dudes on another side, like smoking all of them, and Murder Mook. And then I had the middle house, and we were having yoga and organic chicken and pause. And I wasn't a vegetarian at the time, or I wasn't plant-based. You know, we were. It was a good environment, man. Nothing but love.
As students, it is sometimes difficult to see the importance of education when pursuing creative careers. With that being said, what value do you put into college education for artistic aspirations? Is there any advice that you'll give a college student that is in this situation?
You know, college is a funny thing for me because I didn't go to college. But I do believe there's discipline in college, but I think the best way to learn is life. The best lesson is life itself. That's been my college. And you don't have to be in debt to go, you know. So I do think that my dream, because I didn't go to college, is to see my kids go to college. But it's hard for me to say that's the best thing for them. I think it's the best thing for you if you don't know what you want to do. But if you're not going to go to college, you have to be 100% 12 hours a day invested in your dream and moving toward that. I just think it just really depends on how quick you want to get in the game, you know. So when I see someone that's going to college, I know they have a certain discipline. I know they can study. I know they can take tests, you know, and that's good. But sometimes they have no creativity because they're used to being told what to do. And I'm a guy that feels like you should judge life based on your own actual experience. But if there's something specific you need to know, like be a lawyer or a doctor, kind of like you have to go to school. But there was no school that I could have gone to learn how to run all these companies and start all these companies. It was just experience what taught me in being fearless, to be honest. And then also winning one way, losing, winning, losing. You learn from all those things. Because sometimes when you think you're winning, you're actually losing. So when someone was funding everything, I thought I was winning, but because I wasn't investing anything in my family would be losing because I'm wasting time. I'm living good, but there's no investment in my family. I think I'm winning, but to me, that's an L. Now, when I'm putting up all my money and I don't have the money to do the extravagant things because I'm putting it back into the business, someone might think that's a loss. But by doing that, you know, in time, my children and my children's children won't have to struggle, or they won't have to start with the same struggles as I have. So in that respect, I'm winning. So I just think it's about perspective. If you're going to go to school, you got to go for the right reasons. Don't just go because your parents want you to go, and don't just go because they'll pay for you to go and because you're not ready to engage in life. You know, go because of a specific reason. Go for the right reason. And if you don't go to college, then make sure you're investing really heavy into the dream, you know, and understanding that school is the experience, and do that 100%. As far as the difference between Dame Dash, the entrepreneur, and Dame Dash, the man, it's all one and the same. I only do what I love. So that's why it doesn't feel like work to me. So I love music, I make music. I love movies, I make movies. I love clothes, I make clothes. I love drinking, not love it, but, you know, I drink moderately, so I make liquor. We just launched a cannabis company, my first strain, King Dusko in Vegas, which is why I even know the commish, Mr. Lawrence Weekly himself, the Don. And that's now become something that's a sustainable business, it's legal. And now I can pass that along to my kids, along with G5 and Larry, who I thank heavily for bringing me in that business. So there's no school that could have taught me all of this. And the school that taught me about smoke is definitely not the school you want to go to. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, thanks for the questions. I appreciate y'all even acknowledging the movie and understanding the message, because a lot of people just don't get it. They might have just thought, oh, it's just shooting up, bang, bang. But the bottom line is that's my actual experience. That's my reality. That's what I learned from. So if I can learn from that in actual life, it would be better for y'all to learn from it from a movie. So you don't have to go through all the things I went through. But if you could be, the smart thing is to learn from it from the movie, not from the actual experience.